Hi, guys, and welcome to our first series in this so-called video podcast here at InfoShare. My name is Romeo. I'm your host today, and I'm with Mick Griffin from Brand24. Hi, Mick.
Hey Romeo, thanks so much for the invite. Super happy to be involved. It sounds like a great project.
Guys, what we want to do in this series is to interview people from the tech industry that are going through these crazy times of COVID, understand how they are adapting to this situation, learn from their experience, and have some fun at the end of the day. That's the main purpose here. So, Mick, what's your story? What brings you to this crazy world of marketeers?
Sure. I mean, Romeo, it's people normally don't believe this, but I'll try to give you the super condensed version. Basically, for people that didn't hear this story before, I actually started off as a professional sportsman back in the UK. I did that from a young age of 16 to 21.
Let me guess, rugby.
Yeah,
Let me
exactly.
guess, rugby.
Wow. Well, yeah, I'm happy that you got that. Actually, most people don't. So it started off doing that. It was great. That career finished at 21, some injuries and so on. And I kind of came out of that and I was like, okay, what jobs can I get without a university degree? I didn't want to go to university, be the older student and so on. So I just literally kind of fell into some sales roles, into one of those typical things, going through the local paper, picking out the jobs, bottom of the ladder. And the first job I actually got outside rugby was I was selling recycling trash cans for a very specific industry, which was when you finish with your ink cartridge on your printer in the UK, you're not allowed to throw it in the regular trash. You have to throw it in a special bin. And that was my first full-time job after rugby. And the CEO at the time, a very small company, was like, Mick, okay, here are the keys to your Fiat Panda. Here is a map of the UK. Go. And that was it. That was the only training I got. I did that for.
That was when? Way back in 2007, or when was it?
So yeah, I would have been 21. So we are looking at like even 2006, 2005, something like that. And I did 3 years of switching jobs every 6 months in the UK, sales job after sales job after sales job. It's really, really common in the UK to do stuff like that. I sold things like.
Then the crisis comes, right? Then the crisis comes, and you need to change, I suppose, from sales to something else.
Yeah, so it was like you said. I mean, we were talking about this before the call. Like, so I got a job, which was my first job in Poland, actually, as an affiliate manager for literally an affiliate company, and all they did is resell other products. And I moved over to Poland, and they had a team in Gdynia, which was 4 people, like a satellite office, and we ran a lot of the affiliate campaigns. And then the crisis came, and literally we got a phone call one day, which was like, "Hey guys, in Gdynia, we love you, but we're closing the whole shop. We're closing everything," because they had one client, which was an insurance company, that decided we're not doing any kind of affiliate marketing anymore. And it turned out to be 25-30% of the whole company's revenue. So the first part of the company to go was the little office in Gdynia, Poland, far away from the UK. And it kind of, it threw me into a little bit of a moment. I know many people that actually literally say that when they got fired or when they got let go or made redundant, it sometimes happens to be the best thing that could happen, because it jumps you into, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I got super lucky. I wouldn't be where I am today because one of my friends said, "Hey, listen, there's a company down the road called GetResponse. They do something with emails, and they definitely sell to people in America and outside of Poland. You should go talk to them." So I went on the website.
I will stop you there with the crisis. Do you see some similarities that happened during that 2008 and now? Because I went through the similar experience. I lost my job in 2008. I was in learning and development training. So everybody was cutting, you don't need to learn stuff with this crisis. We need to produce. So do you see any kind of similarities in that time or in these times, at least in people's behavior, and what we could get out of this, so we actually go out of this stronger and more positive, right?
Yep. For me, I feel like it's probably hard to compare it. Obviously, I'm an older person. I have more experience and I'm a little bit more mature. But I guess I didn't feel the 2008, 2009 so personally. Because one thing that happens right now is obviously we see that it's affecting the economy. I read through LinkedIn every day, people looking for jobs, people saying bye to their colleagues. But we obviously have this huge personal effect right now that we also have to stay in our homes. Our children have to stay home from school. So what I think is, from the people I know in 2008, 2009, it was purely professional problem. So I lost my job. I need to find a new job. But every other part of their life was moving as normal. Now we have these changes in jobs and careers and companies going up and down. But we also have this huge distraction as well as, well, I also have to worry about my health, the health of my family. Can't leave the house. I've got all these new laws. So I would say that in some respects, now is probably a little bit harder for people that are experiencing it. Just because I think that it's just one part, unfortunately, of a few things that are being disrupted right now.
I get it. So it's a different element. Okay, so then you went to these guys Get Response, which apparently later on they went quite big, right? Like
Well,
Get
yeah,
Response, like just exploded.
They were pretty big when I got there. I would say I think they had about 70, 80 people.
Okay.
And literally, I have no doubt whatsoever, and Shimon might agree or disagree with the CEO, but I think they pretty much hired me because I was English. They're like, okay, mate, native speaker right here in Gdańsk on the doorstep. We will use you for something. Come in, we'll find it. And obviously, with that kind of, luckily being a native speaker, they were like, marketing. We'll throw him in marketing. He'll be fine. And it was just at the age where businesses were starting to pick up social media. So I started the Twitter accounts. I started the Facebook accounts. I did a little bit of content marketing, and I did that probably the first 6 to 9 months, something like that in there.
As far as I know, they work also with affiliate marketeers, right?
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
was a great match later on that you.
So ironically, it's kind of ironic. Yeah, but 100% they do. But I think that we all thought that was the path I was going to take, and I didn't at all. I actually didn't go into the affiliate marketing side of Get Response. I ended up going into the direct sales side and starting the sales process there. But I got super lucky because my background wasn't tech. My aspirations were not to work in software or technology.
Right, and sales from UK.
Yeah, and luckily I fell into one of these like super fast booming industries of online marketing technologies, and here we are 12 years later, and I'm still in the space, which was just purely by luck, but a great piece of luck for me.
And then Brand24, and I still remember that I see a lot of webinars or different kind of trainings where they are taking your screenshots from LinkedIn and showing to people, this is the funny messages that I'm getting, and don't do like that. So I think you have a lot of experience when it comes to social selling, when it comes to, the company overall does social listening and all of that. So can you tell us a little bit about that? And because this is where I would like to get the direction, the discussion in social selling. What should we do now in this COVID-19 crisis? Because we cannot really sell the way we were used to do way back in 2008 and way back last year.
Yeah, right? Yeah, 4 months ago, so
Exactly.
so far away. But it's I got lucky because when I met I was even at InfoShare was literally the first time that I met with Michał Sadowski when I was at Get Response, and he was starting things at Brand24. And the thing is Michał has a theology that I really like, which is it's always been transparency and being real. Yeah, so we from the very beginning we really limited automation. All of our reach outs by human beings. We never hid that we were Polish company, that we were small, that we maybe only had a few hundred customers. We weren't pretending that we had, you know, millions of dollars in the bank. We were very real. Now, the thing I've always said about sales, it's quite funny, because there is no maybe this is a bad statement, but there's no real bad way to do sales. You've just got to pick which one you really want to feel good with. So, you know, there are companies out there that their sales strategy is, okay, we start cold calling first day, and we call, and we cold call people. We buy their numbers off eBay, off the internet, and we just call, and we make money. Now, as much as you know, most of us on the surface say that's not, we don't like doing it that way. We don't appreciate taking cold calls. We hate when people call us at 5 p.m. and try to sell us their product. The ironic thing is being a realistic salesperson, it does work. It just works in a very inefficient way. So those companies do know that if they make 1,000 phone calls, they will maybe make $1,000. But you have to go through 950 people telling you that they hate you. And so, you know, luckily for me, Brand24 and Michał and myself, we had the same mentality. We don't need to do it that way. I'd rather talk to just 10 people at the right time when they want to talk and still make the $1,000 rather than talk to 1,000 people. But the irony thing about sales is both processes work, sadly.
And I believe those guys who are doing those 1,000 calls, they believe that your method is inefficient, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's imagine this. I'm a sales guy in a tech business, in a software house, in a SaaS business, you name it, and all the purchasing now it's frozen. In some of the procurement departments are, I don't know, frozen till September maybe. I have some clients, because we do the same, like growth marketing for SaaS businesses and software houses, and we see that our clients tell us, hey, all the procurement is stopped, so we should stop marketing. We should stop doing anything at this point till procurement gets back into business. Is that a good approach, or should we have a different approach now?
So I wouldn't be confident enough to say that it's good or bad. I think that you shouldn't stop. I mean, I think everybody kind of is getting on board with that. What you probably need to do is slow down your very high cost lead generation, your very high cost campaigns, and maybe roll back and think about, well, how can I do this with that's a bit more cost efficient? And I guarantee that every company can go out there and find business in a more cost efficient way. So no, I can't disagree that some companies have said we are not buying anything, but the fact of the matter is if you have been in sales for a long time, like probably yourself and myself, these are what we call objections. I find that in lots of tech companies that I talk to nowadays, they are moving and trying to grow so fast that when one of their leads says, okay, it's not a good time, or come back to me in 6 months, or I'm going with a competitor, lots of people just say, okay, thank you, next person. And they are moving at 100 miles an hour. Well, when I was doing sales, 15 years ago, that was what we called like, no doesn't mean no, no means try harder. Like, okay, so I understand that, you've got a procurement block. What if I can, turn your first $100 spent into $150? So we became too fast to say, okay, they don't want it right now, I need to move on to the next person. And sometimes if we slow down and think, well, why for them is that not now? And what could I possibly be doing to make them reconsider that decision? And in some companies, I agree, big, huge organizations, you are probably not going to be able to change that procurement stance. But in many cases, these are small companies, yeah? You're still selling to companies with 100 people, 500 people. It is possible. They are buying stuff today. It's just the first answer is always no. So you've got to kind of, dig a little bit deeper, put a little bit more effort in.
Okay, so I just saw a really interesting benchmark done by the guys from HubSpot. It's on hubspot.com/COVID-data. And they actually aggregated all the data in terms of sales emails, that are sent and the open rate, also marketing emails, conversations started on chat, and traffic. And what's interesting, which is actually obvious, that the sales numbers went down, at least the open rates for those emails, and the marketing emails went really up. And I suppose because they are content emails, those ones with marketing, I suppose. And the conversation went crazy up. So in these times, what should be our messaging? How should we actually build the messaging with our old or like champions customers and new ones, like, because it should be a different.
So, you know, again, it's probably gonna, a lot of people might read like what I'm gonna say and go, well, that's an ideal proposal. But for me, the idea is that your business should always be solving a problem. So the thing I look at when I look at COVID now and the scenario that we have, I actually see the opportunity, because I feel that businesses are experiencing more pain than ever before. So if you have a solution to that pain, they will grab you with two hands now and pull you in and say, okay, if you obviously as a business, if you can convince them, you can solve their pain, which is what salespeople do. But when you do convince them, then they're going to grab you with two hands and they're going to pull you in and they are going to make you part of their ecosystem. Now, what I feel like is in the past, we didn't have to so much emphasize that we solve a pain because the pains were not so strong. Yeah, so we started selling to people based on features, based on nice UX, based on price. And suddenly now people are going, well, your tool is a nice to have. So we're not buying nice to have tools anymore. We're buying only tools that we need to have.
Yeah, so vitamin and antibiotics. So I don't need the vitamin. I need the antibiotic type of tools. Yeah,
exactly. And some of your businesses, some of your previous clients, or maybe some of your own target audiences, you are only ever going to be a nice to have, which is okay. So as a business, you have to quickly hit pause, regroup, and say, okay, whose problem do we super solve? Like, you know, everyone thinks that, you know, Zoom or Skype or Google Meets or, you know, they all got lucky. They didn't. They solve a problem that as a business, my revenue just became zero because we normally sell face to face or whatever it may be. I need that revenue to go from zero up. What tool can help me do that? Zoom. I can go from face to face to Zoom. It won't get my revenue back up to 100%, but maybe it'll get me up to 50. And as a business, that 50 is now my oxygen. I can't breathe without that 50. And that's why Zoom or the so on have come up. It's not because everyone's like, oh, I like video calling. No, it's a necessity for so many businesses that just it wasn't a necessity before. And that's the way that I approach it with, you know, with Brand24 or with any other tool. Look back and maybe don't be concerned that you're not be able to reach out to 10,000 people, but you may be able to reach out to 100 people that you know really could do with your service right now, but give them a little bit more care and attention.
We are reaching to the end, so I want to tap into the funny messages that you're getting all the time. Tell us some funny messages that really made your day in a way, sarcastically speaking, obviously.
I mean, this is how it is. Yeah, I mean, this is the challenge. So unfortunately for me, a lot of my colleagues, they get better at selling by reading books, and you know, they really go to seminars, and so where I get better at selling is I just take every sales opportunity and I run with it. So when somebody pitches me on LinkedIn, I'll be like, okay, great, tell me, you know, what do you need? And I'll see how they react, and how they react will tell me if it was good or bad. But as you know, a lot of them are the same, and this is what drives me crazy, but it's also kind of funny, where they're like, hey sir, I've got this product for you, you really need it, it's great, all my other people like it, buy it today. And I'm like, first of all, like, it is LinkedIn, you at least know my name if you're going to spend the moment. But what you find with these people is when I reply and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm interested, tell me more, and then they suddenly go, I told you everything, there's nothing more for me to tell. It's like, one shot message, everything in there. I hope that you buy it. But I think the funniest one I get is I think we mentioned it previously. So, I was lucky enough to start Pipeline Summit as a sales conference in Poland, and that's great and everything. But because I was CEO or founder of Pipeline Summit on LinkedIn, I start to get companies trying to sell me pipes. So they literally think that I'm a manufacturing company and I work with piping. So I get Chinese companies and so on, and companies from all the world saying, okay, what are your piping needs, Mr. Griffin? And I'm like, wow. So the one that really I kind of, so I'll reply and I'm like, yeah, they were like, would you like, A, B, or C? And I'm like, I need B, and I need it right now. I need 4 miles of pipe. Like, I'm just like, well, if you're not going to put the effort in, I'm going to let's see how it goes. Yeah, and I had one company going, okay, so 4 miles of pipe. Okay, great. We can get you this at this price. And I said, no, you need to drop the price 50% right now. And they're like, okay, Mr. Griffin, okay, 50% discount. You got it. It's coming your way. And I'm like, and they're like, okay. And the last thing they said was, what is the adhesive? So what do you want that's going to connect the pipes together? We'll provide this for you. And my answer was Play-Doh, because my son was literally playing with Play-Doh in front of me. And I'm like, it has to be Play-Doh. And I got a reply saying, what's Play-Doh? And after that, I just stopped. I was like, okay, great. But it's just, so that, that just makes me like, as you know, with all these kind of outreaches, it's all about databases. You buy databases of people.
Yeah, of course. And I saw it with my clients, that we were just reaching out genuinely after they downloaded an ebook to ask them a feedback, right? Like, hey, I saw you downloaded the ebook. What's your feedback on it? And some of them were writing me, even though I was personalizing and I was looking at, oh, hello, automated message. And I was like, what? And then I was stopped, complaining. And I thought, yeah, they think everything it's, automated. So what I started to do is I started making video type of messages, and I just put their name in the first frame of the video. So they see this is not personalized. This is not automated, it's personalized. Because unfortunately we got bombarded by this automated Chrome extension and all kind of stuff. So
my philosophy is that you've got 3 seconds. You've literally got 3 seconds of attention to prove to someone that you're real or you're fake. But every day on Brand 24, we have our live chat, and all our team is live, typing to people. And probably 5 or 6 times today, people are like, are you a robot? They ask, and, it's like, actually, it's day 46 of the lockdown. My name is Mick. And, if I look in the newspaper, you have to convince them. But the good news is, when you do convince them that it's real, they open up now, and they are like, great, you've got my attention, talk to me. I'm so surprised I'm talking to a real person. And then that's a great sign.
Okay, cool. Do you have any tactics, any kind of last message you would give to our listeners or our viewers before we stop with this? Because I'm aware of time, and just want to close it with some of your advices to the people.
So the only thing I can give people, and this is really important from my perspective, is like, just whatever the problem is that you thought you solved a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever you started the company, try to just stop, grab 4 or 5 people from your team and just question yourself. Like, do we still solve that problem? Is that what we do now? Because we are creating features every day, we are doing things differently. And then the next key thing is, who's feeling that problem the most today? So who has the biggest pain? And, and then, like, we talked about this before, the last thing, try just reaching out humanly, right? In individual messages. Hey, John, this is my company. I believe that you're probably suffering this pain right now. Like, you don't have enough leads, or you don't have enough sales, or you don't have enough money. I can help you do that by this, this, and this. Just write 10 of them, write 20 of them, and see if you start getting responses. But don't just stop. And please, the only one recommendation: don't try to solve the problem with discounts. If it seems like a quick way, it seems really like you're doing people a favor, but if people don't see the value of your product at the price, it's very unlikely they're going to find the value of your product at half the price. They're in pain. So you've got to, rather than give them lower pricing, emphasize the value that you're going to give them more and more. That would be my advice. You know, and I know it's very easy. People, you can write to me if you want to find out how to do that specifically. I'll be happy to look at every case individually. You can find me on LinkedIn or through InfoShare. But yeah, just try to be human, try to be real, and just remember, like we talked at the very beginning, the company you were 4 or 5 months ago might not be the company you are right now, and you have to kind of be okay with that.
Thanks a lot, Mick. Thanks a lot, Guy, for tuning in, listening to this short video podcast that we started doing here at InfoShare. See you at the next one, and let us know if you have any type of topic that you would like to talk about, and any type of ideas are welcomed. Let us know. Take care. All the best. Mick, stay safe. All of you guys, stay safe. Bye.
Guys, take care. See you later.